This is the support up to right mindfulness, up to right recollection. The one pointedness of mind equipped with these 7 factors is called noble right concentration, with its supports and also with its accessories. Right concentration is the 4 jhanas. And then Aryan right concentration is the 4 jhanas supported by the other factors of the Noble Eightfold Path. So you have noble right concentration, then only you can attain liberation. But those people who practice concentration in the external sects, ascetics, they may have 4 jhanas, but they don't have the other factors of the Noble Eightfold Path. So if they don't have the other factors of the Noble Eightfold Path, that is just right concentration, but it's not noble right concentration, so they won't be able to attain Nibbana, because they don't have the other factors. So it's very important that right concentration must always be supported by the other 7 factors of the Noble Eightfold Path. The next sutta is 45.49. Page 1543. At Savatthi, the Buddha said, "Monks, this is the forerunner and precursor of the rising sun, that is the dawn. So too, monks, for a monk, this is the forerunner and precursor for the arising of the Noble Eightfold Path, that is good friendship. When a monk has a good friend, it is to be expected that he will develop and cultivate this Noble Eightfold Path. And how does a monk who has a good friend develop and cultivate the Noble Eightfold Path? Here, monks, a monk develops right view, which is based upon seclusion, dispassion and cessation, maturing in release. Similarly, he develops right thoughts, right speech, etc., which are based on seclusion, dispassion and cessation, maturing in release. It is in this way, monks, that a monk who has a good friend develops and cultivates the Noble Eightfold Path." That's the end of the sutta. So just like you must have the dawn before the rising of the sun, so in the same way, you need to have a good friend before you can walk the Noble Eightfold Path, or see the Noble Path, the Noble Eightfold Path very clearly. So a good friend, in our case, the best friend is the Buddha's words. And better still, if you have another spiritual companion who can help you to understand the words of the Buddha. 45.140, page 1551. Monks, just as the footprints of all living beings that walk fit into the footprint of the elephant, and the elephant's footprint is declared to be the chief among them, that is, with respect to size, so too, whatever wholesome states there are all rooted in diligence, converge upon diligence, and diligence is declared to be the chief among them. When a monk is diligent, it is expected that he will develop and cultivate the Noble Eightfold Path. It's the end of the sutta. So the Buddha says that among all footprints, the elephant's footprint is considered the chief because it's the biggest. So similarly, whatever wholesome states there are, diligence is the chief of all wholesome states. Diligence is the chief, the most important, because when we have diligence, then diligence means effort, energetic effort to work to get what you want. So when you put effort in the right way, then you can achieve what you want. Effort also, it must be right effort, put in the right way. The Buddha gave a simile that practicing the right way is extremely important. The Buddha said, somebody heard that you can get oil by crushing sesame seeds. You crush sesame seeds you can get oil. But he didn't understand what was sesamum seeds. He only heard that it's something very small. So he got sand and he tried to crush sand. Can he get oil? He can never get oil because he's crushing the wrong thing. So in the same way, when we practice with effort, we must put effort in the right way. And what is the right way? Only the words of the Buddha can guide us. 45.155, page 1555. The Buddha said, monks, just as various winds blow in the sky, easterly winds, westerly winds, northerly winds, southerly winds, dusty winds and dustless winds, cold winds and hot winds, gentle winds and strong winds, so too, when the monk develops and cultivates the Noble Eightfold Path, then for him the 4 intense states of recollection go to fulfillment by development. The 4 right efforts go to fulfillment by development. The 4 bases for psychic power, the 5 faculties, the 5 powers, the 7 factors of enlightenment go to fulfillment by development. And how is this so? Here monks, a monk develops right view, right thoughts, right speech, etc. up to right concentration, which is based upon seclusion, dispassion and cessation, maturing in release. It is in this way, monks, that when the monk develops and cultivates the Noble Eightfold Path, then for him the 4 intense states of recollection, the 4 right efforts, the 4 bases of psychic power, the 5 faculties, etc., all go to fulfillment by development. So, actually, when we want to perfect these 37 Bodhipakya Dhammas, out of these 7 sets, the most important is the Noble Eightfold Path. When you perfect the Noble Eightfold Path, then all the others are perfected. Your 4 Satipatthana, your 4 Iddhipada, your 4 Samappadana, your 5 Indriya, 5 Bala, 7 Bojjhanga, all go to fulfillment. So sometimes people say the only way is the 4 Satipatthana. That's not correct. The only way is the Noble Eightfold Path. As mentioned just now in the Venerable Bhikkhu Bodhi's notes, the other factors of these 7 sets are not so important as the Noble Eightfold Path, because the Noble Eightfold Path is the most complete. The next sutta is 45.159. The Buddha said, monks, suppose there is a guest house. The people come from the east, west, north and south and lodge there. Katyas, that means warrior clan, Brahmins, Vesas are merchants, and Suddas are the workers, come and lodge there. So too, when a monk develops and cultivates the Noble Eightfold Path, he fully understands by direct knowledge those things that are to be fully understood by direct knowledge. He abandons by direct knowledge those things that are to be abandoned by direct knowledge. He realizes by direct knowledge those things that are to be realized by direct knowledge. He develops by direct knowledge those things that are to be developed by direct knowledge. And what monks are the things to be fully understood by direct knowledge? It should be said, the 5 aggregates of attachment. What 5? The body aggregate of attachment, the feeling, perception, volition, consciousness aggregates of attachment. These are to be fully understood by direct knowledge. And what monks are the things to be abandoned by direct knowledge? Ignorance and craving for existence. These are the things to be abandoned by direct knowledge. And what monks are the things to be realized by direct knowledge? true knowledge and liberation. These are the things to be realized by direct knowledge. And what monks are the things to be developed by direct knowledge? Samatha and vipassana. These are the things to be developed by direct knowledge. And how is it? Samatha and vipassana is tranquility or tranquilization of the mind and contemplation. Contemplation refers mostly to contemplation of the Buddha's words, the Dhamma. And how is it, monks, that when a monk develops and cultivates the Noble Eightfold Path, he fully understands by direct knowledge those things that are to be fully understood by direct knowledge. He develops by direct knowledge those things that are to be developed. Here, monks, a monk develops right view, right thoughts, right speech, etc. up to right concentration, which are based upon seclusion, dispassion and cessation, maturing in release. It is in this way, monks, that a monk who develops and cultivates the Noble Eightfold Path, so that he fully understands by direct knowledge those things that are to be fully understood by direct knowledge. He abandons what are to be abandoned and he develops what are to be developed, etc. So this sutta tells us what we need to understand is the five aggregates of attachment. And to understand the five aggregates of attachment, we need the theory and the practice. The theory is to study the Buddha's words concerning the five aggregates. And then the practice is to contemplate the five aggregates, how they arise, how they cease, how they are subject to conditions, etc. And then the things to be abandoned are ignorance and craving for existence. Ignorance we abandon by learning the Buddha's words. But even learning the Buddha's words is not enough. Because if you have a lot of your five hindrances are very strong, then even you read the Buddha's words or listen to the Buddha's words, it doesn't go in very much, doesn't go in very deep. So we need to meditate to get rid of the five hindrances by practicing samatha meditation. And then when the five hindrances are eliminated, then we can understand the Buddha's words and be rid of ignorance. And this craving for existence, we can only abandon when we really understand the Dhamma. The thing is to be realized by direct knowledge is true knowledge and liberation. Things to be developed, samatha and vipassana. Samatha, of course, you have to meditate, to practice to get samadhi, one-pointedness of mind. And vipassana is listening to the Buddha's words or reading the suttas and contemplating to understand. So when we practice the Noble Eightfold Path, these will develop naturally. The next sutta, 45.160. Suppose, monks, that when the river Ganges slants, slopes and inclines towards the east, a great crowd of people would come along, bringing a shovel and a basket, thinking, we will make this river Ganges slant, slope and incline towards the west. What do you think, monks? Would that great crowd of people be able to make the river Ganges slant, slope and incline towards the west? No, Venerable Sir. For what reason? Because the river Ganges slants, slopes and inclines towards the east, and it is not easy to make it slant, slope and incline towards the west. That great crowd of people would only reap fatigue and vexation. And the Buddha said, so too, monks, when a monk is developing and cultivating the Noble Eightfold Path, kings or royal ministers, friends or colleagues, relatives or kinsmen might invite him to accept wealth, saying, come, good man, why let these saffron robes weigh you down? Why roam about with a shaven head and a begging bowl? Come, having returned to the lower life, enjoy wealth and do meritorious deeds. Indeed, monks, when that monk is developing and cultivating the Noble Eightfold Path, it is impossible that he will give up the training and return to the lower life. For what reason? because for a long time his mind has